Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't. And I have a very special guest here who, we've talked to several times and we love him so much we asked him to come on again. So, would you like to unveil your secret and not so secret identity to the masses?
Oh, I'm so secret. This is Kyle Hebert. Oh wait, I should have come up with a cooler name than that. I'm me, and you are you, and we're all together. Peace and love, love and peace.
You could have totally been like, I'm Mr. Legend or something. I mean, come on, Kyle. You need that cough.
Okay, yes, I'm Mr. Legend, the abusive butthead from Tiger and Bunny. Yes,
I like Tiger and Bunny. That show's awesome.
yes, yes. And for all your listeners, you can catch it on Neon Alley from time to time.
Yeah, I do believe they're doing, I think the latest movie soon on Neon Alley, something along those lines. I recently just finished the series and I keep getting Tiger and Bunny merchandise, like really silly
Really?
things. Yeah, I've never had this experience with any other show, maybe besides Sailor Moon, but like I have Tiger's hat, I have like adhesive nails that have all the hero symbols on them. I even have a Mr. Legend nail for my pinky. I'm just saying. So, I don't know,
Whoa.
it's like I'm incorporating Tiger and Bunny in my fashion in really subtle ways. It's been really interesting.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
I mean, a little bit different than getting the typical like action figure or what have you. So,
No, that's okay. I mean, anything that will keep the interest and the buzz alive, and sales of any kind of merchandise is an awesome thing.
well, now this actually, even though I brought this up kind of randomly, it makes me wonder, do you get the merchandise? Like, do you buy any merchandise from any of the shows you voice in?
Sure. I mean, I guess it. I mean, I pride myself for being humble, but I do really enjoy finding merchandise of characters that I voice from games or shows that I've been very, very lucky to work on. So yeah, I at every con I go to, I always make it a point to peruse the dealer hall and artist alley, and you know, either get a custom made trinket or something, or maybe a wall scroll once in a while, or whatnot. So yeah, my place is pretty cluttered, and I have boxes of stuff I've collected through the years.
Oh, it sounds just like my experience right now. I actually was somehow able, because I've been collecting figures for about 7 years now. So I was somehow
Yeah.
able to fit them in their boxes in like this extra grande box, which was fantastic. So I'm usually a big figure collector. That's generally my thing, but I don't know, Tiger and Bunny has been weird. It's been more about fashion.
And it's tougher for the anime fans who collect figures because those cost, sometimes twice as much as, if you just walk into Target and get like a Batman figure or something.
Well, to be fair, like the Batman toy figures aren't necessarily the same quality as, say, a PVC figure. So,
Oh, those kind of figures. Oh, okay.
yeah, and I don't have the, what is it, the super ultra action Tiger and Bunny power shooter figure, whatever the kids call them these days.
It's okay. You have goals. You have things to work towards. It's good.
Exactly. So it's been so long. I was actually really surprised how long it's been since we've gotten a chance to talk to you officially on the fan, because we have seen each other quite a few times in real life at conventions, passing by one another. I think the last one was Youmacon.
Yeah, that's right.
And what do
I
you think
think
of
before opening
Youmacon?
ceremony. Oh, I had a great time at Youmacon. A little chaotic at times, as the larger shows tend to be. You just, I mean, the more people you add to the equation, it's just kind of a recipe for chaos, and that's no one's fault. But I was lucky to work with really great staffers, and everyone kept a cool head, and we made it to our panels on time, and the fans were great, and I continue to love to any chance to hang out with fans and travel around the country and the world, and it's just an awesome time.
I really love the staffers at that convention. They're some of my favorite people in the world. Like, I don't know at other conventions where I can leave and get really sentimental and like bittersweet that I'm leaving.
Oh, duh, yeah. I'm very lucky because I've been to Youmacon before in years past, and it's so great to get to not only go to a new place, but when you get invited back and see a lot of familiar faces, whether they be staff or attendees or fellow guests, It's just it's like a second family.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's the feeling that kind of hit me at closing ceremonies. I was like, this was the second year I got to see all these fabulous people, and now I can't possibly see them for another year. I don't know if they'll invite us. Oh, now I'm sad.
That's right. Now, Youmacon, for the listeners who don't know, is in Detroit, and you live nowhere near that. So you had a
Yes.
road trip on either side of that.
Yeah, I actually flew. I think it was a 4.5 hour flight. I,
Well, oh, you flew. Okay. All right.
yes.
I'm so used to hearing people that, oh, it's so much cheaper to drive, even though it's 18,000 hours.
Well, I'd have to get a driver's license for that.
Oh, you don't have to. It's only bad if you get caught.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not condoning this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. La, 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 la.
Let's talk about like guns and murder and wait, what? Where did this go?
Wait, what?
I don't know where this went.
Oh, just watch any anime, read any manga if you want all that stuff.
That's true. That's very true. But the great thing about the convention scene is you have actually a lot coming up. I think we're gonna cross paths again here in Viva Las Vegas for Sabacon.
Sabagon, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Not that I'll be cosplaying Elvis or anything. I'll just be walking around going, "Oh my God, I'm in Vegas
Oh, you got my hopes up. Gosh darn it, Kyle.
again." Yeah, before I could just cosplay Fat Elvis, but I've lost 30 pounds, so I would be the
Congratulations.
ever shrinking Elvis.
Well, actually, you could just go onto the strip when you're in Vegas and find the Spanish-speaking Elvises.
Oh, that sounds epic. Just all line up, and that'll be fantastic.
I was actually at OCon Vegas and I haven't been on the strip in quite a bit because I've been busy or been traveling. And there's Bumblebee from the Transformers and a big DJ Hello Kitty and obviously the showgirls who are handing out their pamphlets and things like that. And there's Spanish Elvis singing in Spanish.
Yay.
That was a new one.
Man, if I could come up with some sort of clever Mexican catchphrase, I would totally do that right now.
It's okay. We know that you need that coffee. But for the fans out there, I'm sure they can find, what other conventions you have coming up. I don't know if you know any of them off the top of your head because I know you don't have a list in front of you, but I know they can.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, KyleHebert.com is it's got a pretty updated thing with all of my latest projects, and it has the appearances listed for the year. And I do have a lot of shows coming up. This weekend is what is it? I'm so proud that I remembered it now. I know it's in Canada, man. It's in Edmonton,
Taste of
Alberta.
Anime-thon?
It's Taste of Anime-thon. It's
Okay.
their one-day event that kind of promotes the big summer event, which I've been to several times. So this time they're having me out during winter time for their smaller con.
Well, make sure to, steal a bunch of bacon and maple leaves and you'll be fine.
Oh, you know me. Bacon is its own food group.
Well, I think that's every guy in general that I know of. Or it could just be my
Yeah,
brother's influence. He's
it
kind of
could
that
be.
one.
It could be. Yeah, I got Anime Milwaukee coming up on Valentine's Day weekend. So while everyone's getting all schmaltz or depressed because they're with someone or not with someone, I'm going to be partying it up with my friends in Milwaukee for the first time. And I say friends for the first time. It's like, well, I'm friends with the other guests, and I've talked to other people online in my chats and everything that are definitely going to Milwaukee, and I'll be back at Anime Detour in Minneapolis in April. I'm going to be in the UK in Newcastle, going back to ACon, and of course Expo. I'll be at Kanji in San Diego doing some MC duties for them, and it's going to be so much fun.
Man, you always have such a full plate. I don't know how you do it.
With very little sleep.
Well, yeah, that
Straight up.
sounds about my usual weekend at a convention. I think at Youmacon I slept like 4 to 6 hours the entire trip. It was fun.
Yeah.
But no,
See, I'm older. I require more, and my body will shut down a lot quicker for neglecting that. So I try to get maybe 5 or 6 a night if I can at a con, even though I'm a night owl and I love staying up late and I hate getting up early.
I think my big thing is I hit this point where I'm just like, I've got the adrenaline rush initially from the convention, but I hit that point where I'm just not tired anymore. Like I was tired and I've gone past that and I just feel nothing.
Oh yes, there's that numb sensation of, oh, I have to go back to the real world now and worry about how I'll pay rent.
Yeah, that part's sad. I just
It
like the
is.
convention. If somebody wants to make a year-long convention, I'll attend all 300 and something days.
Can you imagine? I don't know. I mean, people get really, really conned out by day 4 at some of the larger shows. So I don't know if they could really do a 7-day-a-week event.
Well, I did recently have the Consumer Electronics Show at the beginning of January, and that's I think 6, 7 days, depending on if you go to the unveiling, like the early stuff. So that show's
Yes,
also very fun.
yes, absolutely. I've been before, and that is like information sensory overload. There's so much, and when you're a tech geek like me, oh God, all the HD TVs, all the 4K HD TVs, all the HD 4K 80-inch TVs or 100-inch TVs that are touchscreen. Ah!
See, my fangasm moment of this year was the fact that Kaz Hirai was there, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with who that is.
No.
He's basically the guy in charge of Sony. Are you familiar with like the video game joke Ridge Racer? Like somebody who announced it at E3 was Kaz Hirai. He's like always their speaker usually at like E3 and other events, and he was there, and I got to meet him. And I'm a big Sony fangirl, and that was super exciting. And I was like, oh my God, please touch me.
Oh my.
Well, not like that, jeez. I
Oh,
just,
oh yeah. Yes, of course.
I just wanted a handshake. I kept my cool. It's cool. I was totally chill. No, nobody was
Oh,
around to, prove that, but I'm just saying I was totally chill.
there's no Instagram shot of this moment in history.
I do have a vlog of it, but it is not up on the interwebs yet because I have been moving, so apologies for that. But one day, one day.
Oh man. See, I know the pain about packing stuff and moving stuff. I'm not moving right now, but my apartment this week is getting a lot of serious renovations in the bathroom and kitchen. So I've had to empty everything out of there and put it all in the living room. And I mean, I'm a messy bachelor to begin with, but now the place looks really like a war zone.
The move actually has been really nice for me because I've been able to get rid of some stuff like extra bookshelves and reorganize my life a lot because the last place I lived in was an apartment for 8 years. And you acquire a lot of stuff between the ages of 16 and like 22.
Yeah, you do.
So it just so happens that it's been a good thing for me, maybe not my mom, who's like 60 and keeps things from when she was my age. But hey, she can deal with that in her room. Just don't keep it in mine.
I can tell you that being a clutter freak is genetic.
Oh, don't tell
My
me that.
parents, yeah. Oh, my parents' house is a pile of stuff with a roof on it, and I have since inherited that quality. My everywhere I go, the place is clean for a month or two, and then I start acquiring more stuff and just putting the piles of stuff on other piles of stuff. And all my friends can attest to this.
I'm going to be super careful. That's my big thing. I want everything to have a place. I want to be organized because if I'm not organized, then I'm not very efficient, and I really need to get to that point again. As of right now, though, I'm reporting from for you guys out there live from my floor, and I'm kind of like hunched over my computer. So n don't ever say that I don't love you. I can't see the chat right now. I'm not even logged onto the chat, but don't ever say that.
Are you gonna like send us your doctor bill from the chiropractor or anything because of all this suffering you do for your art?
Oh my gosh, I wish I could. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, but I wish I could show you. I posted a picture the other day that was like battle scars from moving, and I have like scratches all on my hands and like my up and down my legs, they're bruised. Like it's so bad.
Nice, nice. I will have to add you. I must see these battle scars.
But for the fans out there that want to look up battle scars because I guess that's your thing, or just want to, listen to some advertisements because that's your thing, we have those coming up, and we also are going to return with our special guest. So keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't. Hey, everybody out there, you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, and my special guest is still alive and breathing. I don't know if he's gotten his coffee yet. Hopefully, yes. But are you still there and breathing? Breathing's a good thing.
I'm still alive, breathing, and with 4 shots of espresso. So, yes, I think I'm awake.
Oh, wonderful. See, when I go to coffee shops, I'm so difficult to get anything for because I'd rather they just give me like ice cream or something or milk. I can't do coffee. I don't know what it is.
Oh, for shame.
I'm a Dr. Pepper girl. I'll just stick with that. That's my
Oh, I would
caffeine.
love to go back to those days. I was total Dr. Pepperhead. I would drink a 2 liter a day. But, now I'm diabetic at type 2, so I've kind of sworn off soda. But it's for the best.
Well, I'm glad that you have superior soda taste. I'm just letting, that out there because my brother is trying to shove more Pepsis into the house, and I'm like, nobody wants this. You need to stop.
Yeah, Pepsi tastes great with Taco Bell. I'll give it that.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't ever find myself going, I crave a Pepsi. No.
Sometimes I crave looking at really outlandish Pepsi commercials with like super pop stars from like the 2000s when I'm bored on YouTube. But otherwise, yeah, I have to agree with you.
Exactly. And, I like Mexican Coke. I miss that. It's so good with pure cane sugar. Whew.
I don't think I ever got a chance to try anything like that. That sounds like it would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it comes obviously from Mexico. It's bottled only, so you got the glass bottle thing going on versus the can, and that is a different sort of taste. And I must say, it's superior.
Well, hopefully somebody at a convention sends you some, some of that drink and then you're all set. Like, this is the fan
Maybe.
gift, not a drawing, this. I think it's a good
Yeah,
plan.
sure.
But for the listeners out there, are there any other projects that you want to, talk about and address and let them know about out there?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can hear my voice all over the TV channels nowadays. Cartoon Network, I'm on Naruto Shippuden on Adult Swim, and if you get up early on Saturday mornings or have siblings who do, younger ones, Tenkai Nights is doing really well. I'm Commander Beeg on that, and then Digimon Fusion is now full force as part of the CW Vortex Saturday morning lineup. So I'm really happy that Digimon Fusion is finally getting some mainstream love.
That must be really neat to just turn on the TV and it's like, oh, there I am. And there I am again. And there I am again. Yes.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest. I cut the cord on cable just to save some money. I'm just a Netflix Hulu Plus guy now, but I try to catch up with shows online when I can.
I try to
And
convince my mom to do that jump, but it seems really difficult to get people to do that.
yeah, yeah, and I appreciate that everyone's kind of an on-demand sort of society now, and sometimes I really do wish I still had cable, though. Maybe when I get that fancy schmancy 4K TV, whenever I'm just rolling in dough, because anime pays so much, ha ha ha. Yeah, maybe I'll bring cable back.
Well, you never know. Maybe you'll strike gold with some project and then everything will just fall on you. And then you'll have plenty. You never know. Just don't sell yourself short. There's always the future.
No, no, no. I got a good feeling. I moved to LA in 2005 and was dead broke for most of that time since then. But the past couple of years, work is finally caught up, and I'm exactly where I need to be in my life and my career, and I'm very, very thankful.
Well, now, one of the interesting things, and I know that the listeners hear about it during our advertisement breaks, is that you also offer a Skype VO class for people who are interested in learning how that whole thing works in case they want to embark on their own adventure to Los Angeles or other major city.
Yeah, see, now I word it very carefully because I don't teach acting. I don't really consider it a class, but I do consider it an overview of what to expect if you were to go pro. So I'm going to teach the process of what an audition's like, what a session's like. Obviously I act like the director. I give you the script, and we test your skills to improvise, to make acting choices, to cold read, and do all this stuff that we're expected to do on a professional level, and you can just kind of see what that is, what it's all like, and it's aimed specifically at beginners, so you don't have to have any sort of there's no requirements or no you know no, you don't have to say, oh, I've worked theater, therefore I'm qualified to do this. Like this, literally, you can start from day one. You can just say, I'm just a fan of this stuff. I just want to try it out.
And I will say for anybody out there interested, because I took my first two classes or workshops or sessions or what have you back in November, which was a lot of fun. And you were very relaxed and easy to talk to, and everything, like there was no timetable, so there was no stress factor involved, which is kind of nice because in my experience taking other classes or things like this, I'm usually a little bit more stressed as to what's to come. Am I performing to whoever is directing? Am I performing to their needs? So on and so forth.
Right. Right. Yeah. I've been doing this for several years because I've gone to so many cons, and the most common question you get is, how do you get into voice acting? And there's lots of great information available out there that's totally free. Now with Skype, obviously time is money, and I've got real life obligations and whatnot. But what you're paying for, for an hour of Skype for $75, you'll just get me instead of holding your hand up at a panel and hoping that I'll be able to answer, or maybe I'll call on you at a voice acting workshop at a con. This makes it much more focused, and a more real sort of representation of what to expect in an audition or a session type situation. You got to give people kudos when they volunteer at a workshop. They got 20, 50, 100 plus people staring at them. And in voice acting, you don't have that, so you don't have that pressure. Obviously, the pressure is high, but it's a different kind of pressure when you're in the booth and expected to make choices on the fly and everything. And I decided to take it to Skype because it's such a wonderful tool to use for people to be anywhere on the planet and yet have access to all this great technology and knowledge, and to get some one-on-one time with someone who's spent a lot of time in the industry, and I can share my history and my experience, to let people know, what the reality is, what the myths are, what the stumbling blocks tend to be, and answer in a free form sort of environment. We can sit here and it's like, what kind of script do you want to work on today? A commercial? Do you want to work on a little character stuff? Want to do some power up yells? Let's go through some fight sounds, and you can ask questions or whatnot. And if you have some demo clips that you want me to critique, you can certainly do that. We can sit there and just pick it apart piece by piece. I'll tell you what I think works, what needs work, and to have some sort of idea. When you have a professional gauge, well, where am I? I know all my friends and family tell me that I should be a voice actor because of this, this, and this. And it's like, well, the criteria isn't just being a fan or the fact that you do impressions. You really have to be able to build a performance from the ground up with improv and cold reading and obviously some raw acting talent. And when people ask during the Skype sessions, do I have what it takes to be pro? It's like, well, I'm not qualified to really answer that because you're starting out. The ideal thing to do when you're saving money to invest in this craft is to take a full acting class. And I realized, oh, that's working against me. But I'm not trying to generate, tons and tons of money as some sort of side business here. I'm certainly not trying to be a snake oil salesman to anyone out there. I think people need to know what they're up against. And unfortunately, despite Twitter and Facebook and social media's predominance out there in the public eye in pop culture, there's so many people that still are under the impression that, well, I go to anime cons all the time and I can do Vegeta's voice, so I should be on anime. And just hoping to broaden that perspective and everything.
No, I have to agree. I mean, that's actually, there's a reason that I try very hard not to ask, what advice would you give other people how to get into voiceover? Unless, there's a subject like this, for example, to bring up in an interview, because I've heard the question myself. I've heard it, asked to other people. I've even heard it asked to me when I wasn't even a voiceover person. So I find it really intriguing because it seems like there's a lot of interest, but maybe there's not enough determination from those people with interest sometimes to go look up a lot of the information or to go
The
invest in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have 100 people raise their hands. How many people are interested in voice acting? If you took those 100 people and then it's like how many from those 100 people in this theoretical situation are actually going to go and save their money and take an acting class after that? Well, not all 100. Some people may decide, well, and this is not saying that they're bad people. Just say, well, hey, I got better things to do with my money. I got rent. I got bills. Or they could say, I don't think it's for me. I don't want to put in the effort and the energy. And just like any sort of job or career goals you have, whether it's artistic or, you want to be a doctor or an astronaut or whatnot, these things do take money and investment of time and blood, sweat, and tears. And, and it's so much more fulfilling if you don't have it handed to you. As much as we all want that, and a lot of today's generation is very, entitled and this, that, and the other, you got to have a proverbial slap in the face and a reality check from time to time. It's like the things worth having are worth fighting for. And they're not just going to be handed to you on a silver platter. It's like just because, I went to Kyle's panel once at a con, or I see him every con that I go to, suddenly, if you're of the mind that, hey, we're pals now, therefore you can get me into the industry. Yeah, it just doesn't work like that.
I mean, to be fair, from my personal experience, I've been extremely lucky in the past 3 months to get what I have in my voiceover adventure. But at the same time, I can understand why people would have a lot of difficulty that they're perhaps not ready to face. I expected not to do anything worth anything, whether it was commercial or animation or what have you, for literally like maybe 3 years was kind of the place I was putting it until I felt confident. I still don't feel confident. It's a really intriguing, interesting journey that is, I can see why sometimes it's so difficult for voice actors to explain why the actual journey is so difficult.
Well, you see, it's a mindset too, and so many people have a certain mindset, and this goes back to perhaps even a deeper psychological level as how you're raised. It's like, what are your expectations in life? Are things handed to you? Is that why you feel that becoming a voice actor is as simple as going to one panel at a con, or taking one Skype session with somebody, or I wish it was that simple, but it does take a thick skin, a really, really thick skin. And the seed starts with the interest, of course. And then, not everyone who wants to do this is meant to do this. You have 100 people who want to be actors, but are they all good, solid actors with raw talent? And will they cultivate that talent and make it into something that's marketable, into something and taking it to the next level? No, only a smaller percentage, and an even smaller percentage of that group will continue to flourish and make strides in networking and continuing to hone their craft, and eventually get to the point where they either move to a bigger city where there's more opportunity, or they take things to the next level and get their demo done, and they invest in that, and then they market it, send it to an agent, or mail it around to casting people for all sorts of different projects. And you brought up a good point about how unique your path is, and that's kind of my point, is that everyone's path is unique. If it were as simple as ABC, you're a voice actor, then there'd probably be more voice acting. It'd be a lot more competitive than it already is. Everyone's path is unique. I came from radio. You're on internet radio now, and you've been able to drum up some business and clients and doing different kinds of voice work, and keeping an open mind about it is really, really huge. If you just say to yourself, I just want to voice anime, okay, well, it's great to have goals. That's awesome. But think about this. You want to do this for the love, or you want to do this for the passion? You want to make this into something palpable and real that you can make a living off of. That's, I'm not saying get rich and famous. That shouldn't be the goal. And if it is, then you're in this for the wrong reasons. You should want to do it for the love. And if you can pay the bills doing what you love, that's the end goal right there. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
I think it's going back to the, unique path aspect of this whole thing. That's actually one of the big reasons when we have guests on for the very first time. My first question is, what got you interested into acting? Not necessarily how did you get into voice acting, though sometimes I do ask that, but not first, because I feel like if people go back and they listen to that, they can get their answer, or at least get several different answers of how you can get into voiceover.
Yeah, sure. On camera, it is a who you know sort of game. A lot of people come from the stage. Radio, a lot of DJs, obviously, because it is voiceover related, even though it's kind of a different beast, and yet it's the same. It's kind of interesting in the world of commercial. You can tell the difference between a DJ's voiced commercial and then a voice actor voiced commercial. The acting styles are different. One's very announcer-like, and the other's more like a conversation with your friend. It's more relaxed and this, that, and the other. And all these subtleties, all this stuff you're going to absorb through taking classes and seeing like, oh, this works this way. This works this way. What is it like to record on an audio book and to build characters and catalog them in your brain? What is it like to just do on hold messages or, narrate corporate training videos? Or, do podcasting. All of this is unique experiences, and it's all valid.
Definitely. And then, you have all that medical stuff where you're like, I don't know how to say this. Maybe I should skip this one. That's happened to me a few
Oh, God.
times.
Yeah. I've done narration for corporate training for very technical stuff, and they'll send me these long scripts and no pronunciation guides, and it's like, oh God. And then I have to do pickups, which means to re-record things for whatever reason. Maybe they want a faster, slower, or I mispronounce something. It's like we could have saved a lot of time if you had given me more stuff. And clients aren't actors. Clients deal with people the way they deal, and it isn't always efficient. So this is why we stress how important it is for actors to be good actors, good interpreters. You have to be able to interpret the material that's given to you so that you can make something and make an informed choice as much as you can, because the client may throw some little curveballs at you, or they may say, we want this character to be 20-something and kind of a off-the-chain little punkish. Or they may not even tell you that. And then you just read the copy and you have to discern what type of disposition this character you're reading for has.
Well, for the fans out there that want to ask you their own questions, because I'm sure that the IRC, once again, I can't see it, is probably asking their own questions for me to ask you. Where can they find more information about the service you provide?
Okay. Well, you guys listening to 91.8 The Fan, obviously you hear my commercial play a lot, and it's like, oh, stop it. But I do have and thank you guys so much for promoting that. But yeah, I'm KyleHebert.com. The last name is pronounced Hebert, but it's spelt like Hebert. It's just Herbert without the first R. So KyleHebert.com. I have a big ad banner on the right-hand side on the main page. You can click on that. I've got testimonials from people who've taken my sessions through the years. I have a full, super long, ridiculously long explanation about what to expect, what not to expect. And I have a FAQ section too, of course, tackling, well, how do I get into voice acting? What goes on a demo, this, that, and the other, so that, maybe you can nip some of that curiosity in the bud, and, we'll just save a lot of time all around.
Exactly. Actually, it was really interesting for me how different both of our sessions were. If anyone's curious, I kind of let you lead the first one, and the second one I was like, "Here's all material I did. Now, essentially, now judge me." And it was totally different, like just the speed and the feeling of it, but it was still a lot
It's
of fun.
Yeah, it's a different feel because I give you the option if you want to spend an hour on Skype with me. I have a handful of scripts that we can sit here and practice on, but I never try to encourage people to purchase more than one session. And again, I'm not an acting coach. I can't teach you to be a better actor. I can critique what you do, and I can say, well, given what I understand about the business, and everyone has an opinion, informed or not. But based on my time in the industry, I can tell you what I think works and what won't work. But yeah, and here's the downside to bringing your own material. If you bring your own material, you have plenty of time before our session gets scheduled to sit there and practice and practice and practice it to death. Now, practice and rehearsing, that's awesome, and you should do it. You should read aloud 10 minutes a day anyway, regardless of what you're reading. It doesn't have to be a script. It could be a blog. It could be, copy from a magazine, anything, just so you're keeping, on your toes and working your acting chops and everything. Do a monologue, just pull from a book, anything, a scene study. But when you have that rehearsed material, you have that honed to perfection. And the downside to that is, in most audition situations, you don't have that kind of time. You're making informed choices based on self-direction and interpretation of the copy, but you have to be able to do that efficiently in the booth, because sometimes you'll audition for something and then the director will go, hey, that was really great. Let's have you go ahead and read for this other character. It's like, I didn't prepare for that one. I've only got here, 15 minutes ago, and I rehearsed this one only. It's like, oh, no. But that's a key skill that you have to have. And, a lot of us nowadays, you're expected to be able to record auditions from home, and you have to be able to self-direct. And you have to be able to interpret what the writer's intent is, because you don't have someone holding your hand. A lot of actors are very nervous about self-direction, and then others, it's just trial by fire. Get in there and just do it. Make the best choice you can, and eventually, something will click.
No, I totally agree. And with the listeners out there, is there anything else you'd like to tell them? Any dating advice, weather forecasts, end of the world predictions, things like that?
Dating advice. I don't think they want dating advice from a 44-year-old bachelor.
Everyone picks up on dating advice, which I find hilarious. I'm waiting for someone to tell me how the world ends or what the meaning of life is, but we'll see.
I'm told the meaning is 42. I'm still trying to learn why it's 42, but I just know that it is 42. Some people want to pick my brain. It's like, how come you're not a Whovian? It's like, I don't know. I tried. I just can't get into it. Walking Dead, though, is still my favorite TV show currently.
I couldn't get into Doctor Who either, so don't feel bad.
Oh, all right. Solid. Yes, we're anti-Whovians. Actually, I'm not anti any sort of fandom. I think it's awesome that anything has a fandom. So, my message to fans is don't be ashamed to wear your geek cred and your geek colors high, no matter what it is. I may not get it. I may not embrace it. But when I see someone really, really love the fandom of some pop culture thing, whether it's written, drawn, animated, or live action or whatnot, or if it's music, I think it's a fantastic thing, and it should be celebrated.
Definitely. And thank you once again for joining us. We always love when we have you on the show because, well, you're Kyle and you're awesome. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And you guys, thanks so much for tuning in and listening and following me on Twitter and Facebook and all that. Again, I'm easy to find. All the links to my stuff's on my website, KyleHebert.com. Thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. And for anybody out there, I believe did we retweet you? I'm pretty sure we did. If not, we're following you in case you can't find Kyle. But you should follow him on Twitter because I find literally a good deal of my random techie news from you because you post about it like 5 seconds after it was posted on whatever site.
I know. I'm that guy who's constantly refreshing Twitter and Facebook, and I follow like 400 accounts. So some of them are personal, some of them are website driven, and I'm like, oh, Mashable, oh yeah, all right, this iPhone one, or this Cinema Blend, or Ain't It Cool, or yeah, the list goes on.
Still, it's a good place to get your news from Kyle Hebert.
Woohoo! Yay! Awesome! I love spreading the news. Hey, when it's viral, Everyone can make it viral.
Exactly. And for any of the listeners out there that missed any of this interview, don't fret. You can find it on the website within the next few days. So keep your eyes peeled to 918thefan.com and your ears tuned to 91.8 The Fan, where we play everything you want and nothing you don't.